The area around Stockholm used to be filled with Viking settlements, and the Vikings left things behind. Weapons, tools, treasures, but most importantly, runestones. Today we're going on a runestone hunt. Runestones appear between 900 AD and 1130 AD, all over the Nordics and in places with Nordic influence. Let's have a look at some cool examples, and I'm gonna start here in Sigtuna at the Sigtuna Museum. The carvings on this stone says that Gillig and Kuse had this stone raised after Arne's son. Fun fact, one of the guys mentioned, Kuse, was probably a big and scary guy, because the word Kuse is where the Swedish word kuslig comes from, and that means scary. I love this stone. It says Amund had this stone raised for himself while he was still alive. That's awesome! Can it get any better than that? Yes, it can. Just wait and see. Here's a nice bit of history for you. This stone mentions Frödis, who had this raised after her husband Ulf. And the only recorded Frödis is the daughter of Eric the Red. Eric the Red discovered Greenland, and he's also the father of Leif Erikson, who discovered America. How's that for some history from this little piece of rock? Many runestones talk about a father or brother who fell in foreign lands, but a significant portion of runestones talk about women as well. This one talks about Ufeg, who had this stone raised after his sisters Tora and Rodvi. But there's something even more cool about this stone. On the other side there are outlines and a cross, but there are no runes. The carver started with the outline, but then he realized the runes aren't gonna fit, so he had to start again on the other side. This one doesn't look that impressive, but it's located in a really cool place, St. Peter's Church ruin. And this place is pretty magnificent. The runes on this stone simply say that Torbjörn had this stone raised after his brother Esbjörn. Not the most riveting tale. Let's move on to more runestones, more history. This one is located in private property, so I'm just gonna have to lean over the fence a little bit. Parts of it has been erased, so you can't really tell what it says, but at least Sven had it raised. You might think that the runestones look a bit drab today, but in the Viking Age they were painted red and black and white and quite colorful. These were some of the stones in Sigtuna, but now we're gonna head to another place north of Stockholm called Vallentuna. This is Vallentuna Church, and outside of it you find a runestone that I personally find unintendedly hilarious. The inscription says that Jarl Banke had this stone raised while he still lived, and he alone owned all of Täby. May God have mercy on his soul. He was a bit of a braggart, wasn't he? And what's that bit about may God have mercy on his soul? Was that because he owned Täby? Oh, and by the way, they have a very suspicious gravestone here at the church. 1355 to 1930. That's a pretty impressive lifespan. But let's have a look inside the church as well. They have a pretty late runestone here from the 12th century about a man who died at sea. And this is a page from Sweden's oldest book, 1198. That's pretty cool. But there's more to see. Jarl Banke had more stones raised than just this one outside the church. This is Jarl Banke's bridge. Jarl Banke is at it once more. So Jarl Banke had this bridge built to help travelers, and of course he took the opportunity to raise runestones to remind people what a powerful man he is. The inscriptions actually say exactly the same thing as the one at the church. I think he had these mass produced. This is a recreation of Jarl Banke's bridge from 2005. They actually based it on drawings from the 1700s and notes from 1600s to make it as authentic as possible. But there were more families than Jarl Banke in Vallentuna. This stone was raised by the Lindö family around 1000 AD. The inscription isn't that impressive, it's just about a couple of guys who built a bridge. But the fun part is that the place is called the Golden Bridge, Guldbron. And that's a pretty bombastic name for what it was. All of this was swampland back then, and they didn't exactly build a huge bridge. They built a little path to make it easier to traverse the swamp, and that's what they call the Golden Bridge. The stone ends with Visäte hugg, Visäte carved it. I just love that detail. It's like, hey, I want to be mentioned too, I want to be mentioned. So why did the Vikings raise runestones? Many are to honor dead family members, of course, but there were some other reasons as well. Some simply wanted to brag to show that they're powerful people with a lot of influence. In some cases, the stones were used to show their support for the king. But mostly, they wanted to show that they were good Christians. Old Norse religion was on the way out and Christianity was the new trendy thing, so people wanted to show that they're good Christians by writing it in stone. Oh, look at that. I'm accidentally filming a wedding as well. Whoops. People have found 3,369 runestones all over the world. And of those, 2,881 are located in Sweden. 1,334 of those stones are found in Uppland, where we are right now. So it's a pretty good place to go runestone hunting. But there are also 58 runestones on the British Isles, there's a rune graffiti on the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul, and they even found a runestone on an island in the Black Sea. So the Vikings got around. If you want to check out some runestones, there are some really easily accessible ones in Stockholm. You can find Husbystenen in a northern suburb in Stockholm, and there's even a runestone in Old Town. So you have no excuse, go out there and check out those runes. Thank you for following me on this little runestone exploration. Hope you had a good time. Like and subscribe, but most importantly, have a great day.